Busta Rhymes, he's a big fat ass now, but he could have played that for real. He actually did it in a video.
I think he lost a bunch of weight, actually.
Has he recently?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I remember seeing him do the New Year's Eve performance, and I was like, "God damn, man!" I was like, "You need to go up a size, bro.
Bust those pants."
Exactly. I was like, "Dude, you need some Spanx up in this piece."
Yeah, exactly.
God damn, shapewear for the win, buddy.
I can't get enough to eat.
But yeah, apparently, like over the last couple of years, like he's gotten into shape.
Oh yeah, you're right. Good for Busta. He dropped the pounds. You're right.
Right?
He was looking more like Tracy Morgan. I don't care.
Tracy Morgan. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, for the side, look.
Oh shit!
Look at this. He looks like Tracy Morgan. Before Tracy Morgan.
He does kind of look like Tracy Morgan.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening, but are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for bald guys and bad movies.
Welcome to Ball Guys and Bad Movies, episode 64. I am Troy.
Troy, cut it out!
Here with my buddy,
Mike Stella.
Mike Stella the fella with the giant back scratcher.
That's right.
We're just talking about your
My mini rake.
AKA back scratcher.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Edwin.
Do you ever wear the straw hat that she gave you and scratch your back at the same time?
I mean, no. Generally speaking, that straw hat is just for pool time. I use it mainly for pool time and working out in the garden time.
Take a picture of you wearing the hat with no shirt on, scratching yourself with the back scratcher,
and send it to my daughter.
Yeah, it'd be a lark.
That's pretty weird, dude.
How's that weird? You go to the pool, right?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Just seems weird.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, look, if it naturally occurred, it would be funny. But I feel like me going out of my way to do it wouldn't be as
Staging
funny.
it is weird.
I think staging it's weird.
Because once you take your shirt off, the sexiness just fires up. Is that what you're saying?
Dude, I can't control it, dude. I can't control it. It just
I
oozes out of me.
I can understand that. I get it. Don't like it, but I get it. So what are we reviewing
You're
this
just
week?
jealous.
Yeah, totally. I'm totally jealous of everything we just said. I'm jealous. What are we reviewing this week, Mike?
What is it called? No One Will Save You.
Or Remember You, apparently.
Yeah.
Forgot the title of the movie. No One Will Save You. Kicking off our month of scary, horror, sci-fi, whatever the fuck we feel like that fits in that genre of Halloween. No One Will Save You is a 2023 American science fiction horror film written and directed and produced by Brian Duffield. You may know Brian Duffield, Mike, from the Divergent series, Quarantine, yeah. Jane Got a Gun, The Babysitter, Underwater,
Quarantine?
Spontaneous, Love and Monsters, which I never saw, but I wanted to.
What's Quarantine?
Quarantine was, I can't click.
Is that a TV show?
No, I think it's a movie.
I don't know.
Did you ever see Love and Monsters?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, it rings a bell.
It was a Netflix movie. Okay.
Yeah, I never saw it.
And guess what? He was producer on Cocaine Bear.
Wow.
Interesting. He's had a lot of scripts on the blacklist in Hollywood. Really well-regarded scripts that have been produced. So. But anyway, it stars Caitlin Dever. I bet you don't remember where she's from, and I just found this out.
I was trying to fucking to place it, like the entire goddamn movie. I could not remember it, and I know it's going to be something like that I should have remembered.
Well, she's been in a lot of shit, but she was in Justified. She was Loretta, that little girl.
Yes.
Dope Sick, which I never saw.
Oh, that's what I remember her from. That's what I remember.
One of her more recent.
Yeah, she was really good in that.
The film is unusual among features for only having 5 words of dialogue in a 93-minute runtime.
Yeah.
It opened in theaters on September 19th, 2023, and was released to streaming services by 20th Century Studios as a Hulu original film in the United States. So, what would be the nutshell of this? The nutshell, you want to do the nutshell, Mike?
Sure, I'll do the nutshell.
This is like a
This is a easy
nutshell.
layup, dude. Yeah.
Please. Okay.
A troubled young lady gets basically aliens try and take over the world, and she fights them off, and 90 minutes of footage ensues.
All right. That is a summary.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just to tack onto that, she is a troubled young girl. You don't know why. It's kind of parsed out. She is isolated.
Therapy via aliens.
No one that will help her. And you find out at the very end why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her against the motherfucking aliens.
Yep.
They're
All three types of aliens.
Yeah. So what do you think of No One Will Save You, Mike? Would you recommend it?
No, I was bored. I thought the best thing about it was the sound design. No, I would not recommend it. Not even, it wasn't worth the time. I thought it was boring. I wasn't it didn't freak me out at all. And I get scared in movies that are supposed to be scary, and it felt like it was trying to be suspenseful and scary, but it just, it was a two-load laundry movie, definitely. I folded 2 loads of laundry watching this movie. So.
Oh, got to break out the laundry movie.
Oh, I had to break it out because it was just, I was falling asleep, and it was just tedious, just boring. I didn't care. I don't know. I think they did themselves a disservice by having 5 words of dialogue in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. Well, I liked it. I didn't find it boring at all. I thought it was suspenseful. I thought the aliens were cool. I think it was an inspired choice not to have that much dialogue. With a caveat, I didn't like the ending. You don't really get a chance to bond with this girl because everything is so guarded, and it becomes an exercise in style and sequences.
Exactly. And and I think we've discussed this before. I'm not a style person. I love a stylized movie, as long as you have the substance to support the film itself. It's like, making a satire. It has to be good without the satire in order to be a good movie. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. And this just didn't do it for me. I was bored.
It's safe to say this is a pass on the mic, and I'd say this is a recommend with some caveats I'll get into. But yeah, this is a movie that only has 5 lines of dialogue, which I found interesting. Like when I heard that description, I was like, okay, let's see what they do. It's kind of like Up. Up is the opening sequence. Up is famous for. I don't think it had any dialogue. It was just all like visuals and
right.
I mean, not compared to that, but I was like, all right, let's see if this can work for a full 90-minute movie. While you're watching it, you're realizing that the action was cool. The aliens were cool, bizarre, weird.
Look, I thought the aliens were cool.
Like them doing the little shapes. That was fucking creepy, dude. Like making a little. The one outside was he like flagging in the ship?
I have no idea.
It like the guys with the wands at the airport.
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of the Ginyu Force from fucking Dragon Ball Z. Like the way they pose and do all these stupid moves before they fight. Right.
Oh yeah, I'm Jace.
Like that's what it made me think of.
He was literally walking like an Egyptian. That one alien.
Another praying mantis being. Another praying mantis monster.
Yeah, it had some of the aliens. There was like 3 types, right? There was like a little mini runner, and then the normal guy, and then being a giant slender man kind of guy.
Twinkle Toes, Sebulba.
Is that a Dragon Ball?
No, Sebulba's the guy who owns Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1.
Oh, the slave master?
Yeah, the guy
Sebulba.
who owns...
Yeah.
The guy who bets with... Yeah, he looks kind of like that. He like walks with his hands and like uses his feet to like attack things and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, and then the other guy, like with his little twinkle toes, like he stands in front of the bed, and then his toes like walks with his fucking
Did you
toes.
find that silly?
I found that silly as fuck, dude. It made me think of fucking what was it, like Bugs Bunny or something, who like walks on his toes. It was just so silly, dude. I thought
any excuse for me to include a Bugs Bunny drop. Maybe I could.
Oh man, but it did crack me up. It was fucking funny, dude. Like I cracked up, and so I called that type of alien Twinkle Toes for the rest of the movie because I watched it with Andrea.
Did she hate it too, or
we were both just like, what the fuck are we like, what is even the point? It was, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like the Babadook, in that like the real message behind the movie was just so clear. The movie itself did such a bad job of sucking me in and making me care about what's going on in the film itself, that I was able to spend the entire time thinking about like how this relates to her trauma. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think for me, again, I was engaged. I mean, it wasn't the best fucking movie I've ever seen.
Right,
but,
right.
I didn't find it boring. I found it interesting. I thought the take of the aliens was, kind of creepy and definitely shot very well. Like, it was wonderfully shot.
There was some cool stuff in it. I mean, like the way like the beam would like grab things and stuff. Like
and the telekinesis.
Yeah,
with
the telekinesis was cool. Like, no, look, I'm not gonna lie. There were some cool stuff that happened. Like, you know what I mean? Cool mechanics within this world that was created. But as a film, like, I was just. But I still, like, I don't know, man. The twinkle toes thing just cracked me the fuck up. Like, when he, like, stands up on his toes, I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, actually, at first, when he stands up on his toes, I was like, oh, what the fuck's he gonna do? Like, jump all crazy out the window? And then he's just like, he just walks on him. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? I was like... talk about walking on your tiptoes.
Yeah.
It was pretty fucking funny. But that was one of the main parts that really stood out to me.
It's silly.
As silly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, man.
I like the way she the situation where she stabbed the alien in the head. That was kind of cool. The reason she was able to do it without him like stopping her with the telekinesis was because he like whipped her around and her hand just kind of flung up and like stabbed him in the head. It was almost like an accident. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like all the action sequences, all the staging, like the film is like made up of bits of engagement, right? It's almost like if you take Ripley from Aliens and cut out all the story and just have Ripley kicking ass. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, Andrea called her Ripley. I was like, oh, she's the alien slayer. And she was like, yeah, she's Ripley. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, she is.
Well, yeah, I was definitely getting those vibes, man. Mm-hmm. So, but everything worked for me until the end and like the reason why, spoiler alert. So she's ostracized in this town. And I thought the movie did a pretty good job of explaining why she couldn't just get away. First, her car wouldn't start. Like, that's the first engagement with the first alien that you said I thought was really cool, when he whips her around and she just happens to have something and just stabs her.
Yeah, I mean, like,
that
there's
was well
cool stuff.
choreographed.
Yeah, well thought out.
And then, the car doesn't work, so she takes the bike and she's going to tell the police, and then I guess she encounters the mother of her friend. She had accidentally killed her childhood friend. And I couldn't understand if she went to jail for it, or it was considered like, oh, it was an accident. She got off and people hate her for it. Maybe.
Yeah.
And she didn't have any parents. I guess her mother had passed or something. But anyway, so she can't go to police, or she could, but as soon as she walks in, the mom spits in her face, and
she could, but then she'd have to actually talk, and so
right, exactly,
that would have ruined that whole part of the film. That's why. Let's be realistic. That's why she didn't actually talk to them. You know what I mean?
And at least she takes a bus out. Like, I appreciate the fact that a character tries to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work, because here's another cool part, I thought. I guess they're replacing people. Mm-hmm. That's my takeaway, is there's this like disgusting squid ball, like hairball thingy that like sticks in your throat. And I guess after a while, like it spits out and it replicates you. And then they kill the main person. So, and then there's a cool sequence where the alien kind of like, she's trying to sneak up on one of the aliens. She goes back to the house, and, to wage her one-woman war. And he kind of just like flicks her with his finger without even looking. And like she goes through a wall. Like, she probably should have been dead at that point. She's a little thing. She's not like, she ain't Ripley, even though they make her out to be. But yeah, at that point, and then he places the thing in her mouth after she's like frozen this red beam, and I don't don't know. It had a lot of cool ideas. It's just when you realize what it is.
Therapy.
She hit her friend with a brick and she's guilty. It just felt underwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you're going to have a movie that only has 5 lines of dialogue, then the oh shit payoff moment's got to be fucking great.
Yeah, no shit.
And mind-blowing, right? There's got to be some fucking twist. I don't know. It's a choice. It's a choice they made.
And so, like, what's the point, right? The aliens come down to, like, solve everyone's childhood trauma. Like, that's the whole point of the aliens in this movie.
Well, for her, I think, and that's the question I was going to ask you. I don't think that was you think that was their entire plan?
I mean, look at the literal last shot of the movie. What was the whole point?
Of everyone being happy and
the aliens are flying around in the sky and stuff?
Well, they didn't kill her because they couldn't. They just couldn't, for some reason, take her out. And I thought, it
didn't seem to me like they couldn't. It looked like they had a big conversation and decided not to.
Well, I mean, yes, they tried. She thwarted them at every turn.
But they captured her and they took her up to the flying saucer and they had a big old alien conversation.
So what was the conversation? What did you take that as meaning?
I mean, I didn't really know, but if I had to think about it, right? I mean, it's not subtitled, so you don't know what they're actually saying. It's not Mars Attacks where they can let you know what they're talking about. It seemed to me like one group thought that they should kill her, like they kill everyone else, and like there was a big argument, and they do a big, like, long sort of push in on this face of one of them while they're talking, and then they then it cuts to the other one who seemed to like want to kill her. It seemed like, and then a big loud sound happens and they look up in the sky and the UFO comes alive and lets out some big thing and does some weird funky thing with the roof. And it seemed to me like the UFO made the decision that we're just going to fix this one's brain and put it back with the rest of the clones. And for why? That's my whole thing. I don't fucking know. I mean, it just seemed like I don't know, man. The movies like this make me feel like there's no fucking reason why we can't get someone to make a movie for us. You know, like we can't get people to fucking buy a script and make a movie and have it be on Hulu, have it be a featured movie on Hulu or anywhere.
Well, there's no real story here.
Yeah.
I mean, the story is the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Basically.
You can sum it up in like a paragraph.
Yeah, and then you can tell them all the dialogue in half a sentence. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, you literally tell them the whole movie.
So it is an exercise in style.
Yeah.
That if you can't appreciate that, then probably like Mikey here, you'd be like, what the fuck am I watching? Why do I care?
Yeah.
Maybe if I didn't know going in that it was that, you know, I didn't know plot wise, but I knew it was. They compared it to The Invaders, which is this Twilight Zone episode that I love, which is silent. There's no dialogue. It's this old lady who's getting attacked by these like little mini robots.
He probably fucking loves that episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there's a twist at the end of that.
What was the twist?
The twist in The Invaders, you see this woman, this old lady who's on this rural farm, and this tiny alien ship arrives. And these little alien dudes in suits come out and they're like attacking her, and it's like a standoff. And she finally crushes the ship. And then you cut to the mothership and you realize the aliens are actually humans. She's like a gigantic alien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the alien. And,
that's fucking awesome.
But see what I mean? Like, that was the twist. And it's a Twilight Zone episode. It's like 30 minutes, right?
That's pretty awesome. I like that idea. That's
works
great.
For that.
Yeah, totally.
So I was kind of wondering if it's going to have some kind of twist like that, like a pull the rug out and make everything you just saw mean something different.
Yeah.
Like that episode.
And if it had done that, I don't know. I might have liked it more. Well, I will say that the whole metaphor behind this was if you don't deal with your trauma and face it head on and come to terms with it, then eventually you're going to become someone that you don't recognize, and it's going to be a lot harder, aka you'll have to kill that new person in order to become the person that you really want to be having healed from the trauma that you experienced as a younger person.
The metaphor of her having to kill her clone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't even veiled. It was so just glaringly obvious what this was about. If I have enough time in a movie to think about like what this is supposed to be symbolic of, I'm not in the movie enough to where I'm going to consider it a good movie. Because I ain't that smart. Because that shit don't come that easy to me.
Yeah, this is again, it's an exercise in style, but it's also, it could be taught in classes about the dangers of not connecting your audience with the main character. Because we're really not, I mean, you go through the bulk of the film not really knowing why you should care about this girl, other than the fact that she's being chased.
Dialogue is needed sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, dialogue is needed in a movie where one, you gotta connect with this person. You gotta learn about them. And humans like to hear other people's voices. That's why we're pack animals.
And when you want to care about the person because when they're in jeopardy, you feel for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, almost like right away, maybe 15 minutes in, the alien attack starts, and we barely know anything about her, except she's some weirdo who's out on this homestead, isolated. Not weirdo, but you know what I mean.
Well, the first thing you see of her is like her in the mirror, like practicing smiling. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like he drives by some random dude's house. Like, that's the whole thing. I could understand certain people in this town like really giving a shit, but not everyone's gonna give a shit. I don't care how small of a town it is. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's gonna be people that she doesn't actually know. There's gonna be people that that don't give a shit. It just seemed weird.
Everyone hate her.
Everyone looks at her when she walks through the fucking town.
Was
it's
it?
Like, give me a break.
The girl she killed, was she like the female Ferris Bueller?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, beloved by all.
Save Ferris.
It's a hard one to unpack because there's not a lot to unpack other than, in my opinion, some cool alien moments.
No, I mean,
strung together some cool ideas, but I wish there was like an actual plot as a backbone.
I mean, the aliens were kind of like creepy looking at times, but I never felt creeped out. You know what I mean? And I get creeped out by movies, like. So,
but do you think it's because you didn't connect to her, so you didn't feel any real
terror, there was
peril
no
or
jeopardy.
You know what I mean?
Maybe that was it. I mean, that definitely didn't help the situation. I can say that much.
I was almost going to compare it to like a Friday the 13th film where victim number 3, just just body count. But even those people, they have a little bit of setup.
Yeah, and they show them. They show them as being, they endear you to these people a little bit, even if they're kind of douchey or they're kind of, some of them are douchey, some of them are sweet. So you get to know them as people and not just these like cardboard cutouts. Of
they don't just show up
trauma,
and then with no dialogue and just get murdered.
Yeah,
willy-nilly.
Exactly.
They establish themselves somehow.
They have dialogue and then they get murdered.
So,
but I mean, I did like the fact that they showed like there were a bunch of different like rings and the aliens had visited multiple times. You know what I mean? And
wait, what part was that? I saw this
at the very beginning of the movie. She comes out and she sees like a dead ring of grass. She's like,
oh, you mean like the crop, the rings,
yeah,
like almost like a crop circle. But
she's like, what the fuck? Like, you see the look on her face, like, what the fuck is this? So like goes and grabs a hose and waters it and shit. Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. And
did you, on a side note, but related, did you like Signs? M. Night Shyamalan Signs?
I didn't dislike Signs. I mean, I thought Signs was fine. I enjoyed it, I actually said that to Andrea. I said it was Signs without the signs. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, I think Signs did a much better job of backstory, like making you care about the characters. At least I did.
Totally. Well, yeah, they definitely did. They definitely made you care about the characters a lot. And that was one of the things that I thought was good about that movie. I mean, they had good actors in it. Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix. I just thought it was funny that aliens decide to invade a planet made up of like 75% of the element that will fucking destroy them. You know what I mean?
That's the War of the Worlds thing, right? Like,
well, not really the War of the Worlds thing. The War of the Worlds thing was like an accident. They didn't know that there was going to be this bacteria that was going to wipe them out. Like, you're flying up to Earth and you see that there's 75% of the earth is covered with water. Like, do they
but
just
bacteria is in the fucking air though? Like, if you're gonna analyze a planet to see if
but do you think they didn't know that they were allergic to water in signs?
I don't think they did.
Water's like one of the most abundant chemical compounds in the universe. You know what I mean? Like,
why would they? I don't know. Why would they?
I don't know either. Yeah,
because plot wants it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. What was your favorite part? Is your favorite part?
My favorite part,
Twinkle Toes, because it was so.
That shit was hilarious. I
didn't find that comical.
Really?
Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm terrified.
Well, you're never terrified of anything, Troy.
But I didn't find it like I found it weird in a cool way. Just and their anatomy and everything, like they're grays, but I like how they're not just plain old grays, and the movements were herky jerky. Like, very, unworldly. So, yeah, I mean, technically,
I like that there were multiple different types of them. Like, I like that there were, like, different categories of aliens that were used for different things, right?
Yeah.
There were the normal-looking grays, who were mainly for finding people and infiltrating into small spaces, like houses and things like that. They're able to manipulate things with their mind. They have telekinesis. That was cool. And then I also liked how they had the little monster-looking guys who could rip through things. But ultimately, if you have a telekinesis guy, why do you need a little monster dude? Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like, but maybe if you're like, who knows? Maybe they've been in giant intergalactic battles before. And then you have the big old praying mantis monster dudes who were pretty freaking cool too.
Yeah, like climbing over the roof and stuck in the car.
And then she lights it and lights the shit on fire.
And then the other one that was in the forest with the moonlight shining through.
Yeah.
Like, the film looked goddamn good. Like, I just thought it was well shot. It's refreshing to have a film that doesn't rely on the ABC. Okay, you gotta set up the character. So I was looking forward to see how they kind of threw out the typical tropes and conventions, but it didn't stick the landing.
Exactly.
Right? And I feel like there's a way to do it.
Of course,
like,
there is.
There must be a way to do this without having to pack a bunch of dialogue in. I just thought, the reason her like, oh, I hit my best friend with a brick, and it's weak, dude. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, man. And it seems like, personally, a little implausible. What? Like, you got so angry that you grabbed a rock and bashed your friend in the fucking head? Like, yeah, it doesn't seem plausible to me. Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Maybe the twist is she's actually a escaped serial killer. She broke into the house. We just think it's her house.
Right. It's the visit, basically.
Yeah, like, I mean, and the reason she's so fucking good because she's a fucking murderer. Like, right. So,
if you wanted to make it, I feel like if you wanted to make it better, don't have her bash her in the head with a rock. Like, make it something to where she could have easily saved her, but because it was a high stress situation, like, she just froze and everyone blames her for that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that a 12-year-old kid is going to pick up a rock and bash someone in the head when all she did was like get in an argument and kind of like push her a little bit and she tripped and fell next to a rock.
You could get Hitchcockian with it. Like, maybe she has a fear of heights, and they have an argument that the other girl slips. She's hanging off the cliffside.
Yeah,
and she's paralyzed. And then she has to conquer that fear to beat the aliens because it's already like baked in. You get sucked up, or
that would have been really good because that would have linked it back to her. And that would have allowed for a more realistic reason for her to have killed someone through not helping them. And you see her frozen there watching her friend. You get a nice little Alan Rickman falling off the building moment in Die Hard.
Yeah, and then it's more her overcoming something. Instead of coming to terms with something she's done, she has to actually proactively overcome an impediment in herself to save herself or save the town or whatever. Like, I don't know. But it's just flimsy. It was a flimsy reveal, and I was really disappointed.
And then
that's what it was.
But I feel like we really need to discuss the ending, the actual ending of the movie.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that the aliens won, for one thing. I get that they should, right? Because they're fucking aliens, and ultimately in a real world, the aliens are gonna win. But why? Why would they make this utopian body snatchers fucking utopian world? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
You say win, but what do they win? Like, I mean, do they want the planet? Why not just fucking kill all the humans and you have the planet? Like, I don't. We don't know their motivations. And I did like parts of this movie a lot.
Yeah. And I felt like I should like this. I did, but that's what I'm saying. This is another one of those movies where I was watching and I felt like I like alien movies. You know what I mean? I like abduction movies. Like, I felt like I should have liked it a lot more than I did.
In my opinion, this isn't a bad movie. It's a misguided good movie. There's a good, really good classic movie in here somewhere.
Right.
They just didn't stick the landing. Like, I applaud them attempting to do something cool, right? And I thought the alien sequences, and I thought there was suspense, like with the thing with the fridge, the blocking of scenes, and the action, I thought was really clever. But cleverness and just stuff happening doesn't, like,
not a good movie make.
Yeah, it doesn't stick to, you need something to sink your teeth into. Well, something to care about. And the end, so the end is she's the only human, at least in that town, that isn't a clone or a replicant.
Yeah.
And she's in nirvana because she's happy, she's accepted, she's smiling. And they even have like a "the end" like title scene that pops up over all the black UFOs kind of
flying around in the background.
And it just felt, it's not even lazy. It just felt like, who gives a shit? That's not why we made this movie.
Let me put it this way. In my opinion, I don't think this guy was the guy to try and break the rules of filmmaking. And I say that because he doesn't have enough wins under his belt. He needs to keep practicing how to make a movie. Once you can make a movie, and once you can successfully make a few good movies that people are like, that's pretty good, then you can start trying to subvert expectations and break the rules. You got to learn the rules so you can know how to break them. It's just what you have to do.
Yeah. I'm curious, but maybe not enough curious to watch his other movies. But Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters, you were already kind of interested. You might as well.
Hey, maybe 2020. I haven't watched it by now. Maybe eventually I will.
Right.
Well, before we wrap it up, what's a good alien invasion movie? What would be, in your opinion, what would be the best alien invasion movie?
Is it cheesy that I'm probably going to say I love Independence Day? The first Independence Day I think is fun.
Oh, wow, really?
That's a Roland Emmerich film, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Like, I like Roland Emmerich disaster movies. Like, they're
people
just
shit
fun.
on it. I remember I seen at the time it was a phenomenon, and it did its job. It was a popcorn, turn your brain off popcorn invasion movie. And a crowd pleaser.
And that's what I liked. I loved it. I thought it was so good. And then I liked the X-Files movie. That was a pretty good one with where you actually see the UFO. The Faculty, I think that's what it was called. That was a fun one. It wasn't good per se, but at least it was
Rodriguez, right? And
but it was
teachers.
Yeah, but at least it was fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun and entertaining.
Have you seen the 70s Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
I don't think I have.
Do yourself a favor and fucking watch that shit, dude.
Yeah.
That shit. And I've seen it.
70s?
Yeah, it was like 79. I mean, the original was like the 50s, right?
Yeah, okay. I feel like I've watched parts of the original.
There's this part where, because there's pods, right? The
pod
premise.
people.
Pod people. And I guess one of the pods had merged with a dog. So there was a moment where a dog runs up with a human face. And that scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, everyone's in this shit.
Oh, yeah. Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum,
Leonard Nimoy, Veronica Cartwright, Kevin McCarthy. Tons of people from that time.
So if you've never seen it, do yourself a favor.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And
definitely.
We can also review it.
Yeah, we could do that.
Oh, Life Force is another alien invasion.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's fucking space vampires, dude. And this chick, she is nude the whole fucking movie. She's like this French model, and like she like later on in her life, she was like, oh, you know, I feel like I was taken advantage of, and like, you know,
yeah, no shit.
But oh my gosh, she's hot. She's the hottest fucking alien space vampire.
Oh,
but
what was that
it
one?
It's got Patrick Stewart in it. Man, it is fucking crazy as shit, but I love it.
What is that one with like the lizard alien chick? They made like a bunch of them. They made like 3 or 4 of them.
Are you talking about Species?
Species.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the first one wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but like it definitely wasn't good.
I will defend Life Force, and it's definitely got a cult following. That's Toby Hooper. When I saw Life Force, because there was doubts about if he had really directed Poltergeist, then I saw Life Force. I'm like, you know what? He could have fucking directed Poltergeist. I'm sure Spielberg was there giving shots, but a lot of it is Hooper too.
Yeah, I always remember seeing this. The poster was so striking. I always remember
for what?
For Life Force.
Oh, for Life Force.
I always remember seeing the poster when I was a kid and wondering about it, and for some reason, my parents just never showed it to me.
Earth
yeah,
and yeah.
I thought it was really cool. Anyway, let's rate it. You want to go first?
No, you go first, dude. What do you want to rate this?
I am going to rate this 2 ill-conceived rocks to the dome out of 5.
Oh, nice. Flimsy plot backstory.
Yeah,
nice.
2 flimsy backstory rock to the head out of 5. Yeah.
I'm shocked, dude. You didn't do 2 Twinkle Toes.
Oh, I should have done Twinkle Toes.
You want to revise that, or you want to go with the rock?
No, I'll stay with the rock. I'll stay with the rock. Fuck,
well, I'm not going to use
done
your Twinkle Toes.
I should have done Twinkle Toes, but it's over. It's done. I forfeit my Twinkle Toes. God damn it!
I'm gonna give it a little higher. I appreciate it.
Well, you liked it.
I'm gonna give it 3. 3 out of 5. Walk like an Egyptian alien poses.
Nice.
Which I thought that was kind of cool. The movement, like when he squatted. Remember when
the little one or the big? He
was
grays?
like the regular size.
Yeah,
when he squatted down. His like hands were like in the praying like pose, and then the one outside, he was like flagging the ship, but he was like he was like pop blocking.
Yeah, yeah, he
was like breaking too.
Oh shit!
Breaking 3, the invasion of the
Breaking 3, the electric praying mantis boogaloo.
We'll call that one Turbo. He was Turbo.
Turbo.
And the other one was Shabba Dabba Doo.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
So if you would like to support this show, keep us going, keep us rolling along, uploading content, you can support us by going to patreon.com/baldguysbadmovies and donate to the show. We're going to use those funds to make sure we can see any movies that you guys want to see and getting our studio set up so we can start recording video and doing these not just audio but also video on YouTube. And once a month, we will pick a patron to choose a movie for us to review. And we'll review it. We'll dedicate it to you. But either way, we just hope you enjoy the show and keep on coming back. Who's Show Nuff? What's that from? Show Nuff.
That's The Last Dragon, baby.
What?
That's from The Last Dragon.
Oh, okay.
The last shogun of Harlem. Crunch ceased. When I say, who's the master? You say, Show Nuff.